What's up everyone, it's TGSF and I had the idea of revisiting FNAF 1 lore for a while, and with the recent release of the FNAF movie that may introduce FNAF to some new people, I thought some people would like to learn the lore as they play the game, so instead of do a big lore drop timeline video on them I thought why not cover the lore as the game goes. You could do that with some others video like MatPat theory and stuff, but a lot of them are mainly theory while the series give out new lore, so maybe outdated. This is why I decided I'd make one now where I try to be as accurate as possible and as clear as possible, so this video will be split into multiple parts. First the surface story where I cover what the story say on a straightforward way, without exploring hidden detail, then the character, exploring the character and their mechanic, the Easter egg, exploring the secret in the game, then lore, what is the full story, and finally a little preview part where I give non-spoilery hint at where the story will go, so without waiting, let's start. Five Nights at Freddy's, that from now on we will average to FNAF, take place in a pizzeria named Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a restaurant with animatronics we will talk about soon. The player is named Mike Schmidt, and Mike apply for the job as a night guard at the pizzeria, where he will have to watch the place at night. We are greeted by a new named character that we refer as Phone Guy that introduces us to the place. We learn Phone Guy used to work in that office before us and finished his last week now. He introduces us to the place more. Then tell us the animatronics are left in a free roaming mode the night. He tell us they used to be able to walk the days too until an event known as the Bite of 87 happened, where an animatronics seemingly bit someone in the face which caused them to lost their frontal lobe, but they survived. So about the animatronics free roam, if the animatronics happen to see you, they will try to get you and forcefully stuff you into a Freddy suit, and because of all the wire, cross-beam and animatronics devices, especially around the facial area will probably get you to die, which is why for the rest of the week you have to prevent the animatronics to come in your office and get you. When they are in front of your door, you have to close the door, but to prevent you from abusing the door, you have a limited power system that go down every time you use a door, monitor, and fan. And you can't turn off the motherfucking fan, which is why the power is constantly draining even when you do nothing, and become more and more aggressive. In the fourth night we listen the last call from Phone Guy. He's doing it during it at his shift and it appear every animatronics are surrendering him and his battery are extremely low. He leave his last message before leaving his last message, asking us to check inside the suit in the back room, before ending up getting attacked by a mysterious animatronics we will talk about in a minute. In the fifth night we get a mysterious phone call with mysterious phrase we will talk about later too. When you beat the game you get a big paycheck of $120. You can then do another night and at the end of that you get an additional $120, and you can then do a seventh customizable night that allow you to control the animatronic, and you end up being fired for tampering with the animatronics, unprofessionalism and your odor. This is the surface story of FNAF without going too deep into the secret. Before we do this thought, it's time to present the character and their game mechanic. First here is Bonnie. He is a blue rabbit, not purple sadly. He is the guitarist of the group, and the most prominent enemy in the game. He will travel throughout the pizzeria to reach your office from the left hall. If he is at the door close your left hall, or he will enter, break your door, and then kill you. Chica is a female and a chicken in the group who served as a backup singer. She worked just like Bonnie except she attacked from the left side. Foxy is the fourth animatronics that get active on night 2. Compared to the other his mechanic is more unique. When you are not using the camera, he will slowly get more active and slowly come out his closet. First he has the phase where he's hiding, then when he's looking, and then when he's about to go. This is kinda where I'd recommend closing the door. However you can do it on phase 4. When he's out, in this phase Foxy is out and if you press the left hall you will see him running at you, which will leave you a short amount of time to close the door. His running doesn't get triggered for about like the 10th second of him being out, so if you see he's out but didn't trigger his running yet profit of that short second you have to close the door. When he gets stopped he will tap in the door which will take a certain amount of battery, so regularly use your cam. A lot of people believe you have to be watching him to slow him down, but contrary to that belief just using the camera is enough to slow him down. And finally Freddy Fazbear himself, the main antagonist of the game, has a quite complex mechanic. For the first 2 nights he doesn't move and only will get you if you lose your power completely, which will trigger a power outage with the iconic theater march sequence. Starting from night 3 though, Freddy will also start to attack the night like the others and slowly become the most problematic animatronics, so he will come to you from the right hallway. Unlike Bonnie and Chica who can move freely and go back and stuff, Freddy will always move on a precise pattern you will see on screen right now. Every time he move he will laugh like that. He will be in the camera, but only use dark side where he's barely visible, only leaving his white dot eye, so if you feel you can't find him, you probably did but he was hiding. These things make Freddy both the hardest to follow and the easiest to follow, because at one point you will realize following his laugh are easier than spotting him. He will laugh 5 times before getting in your office, his 5th laugher close your door. Contrary to Bonnie and Chica, Freddy will not show up in front of your door waiting for you to close it but brutally enter the room and kill you at his 6th laugh. Even if you manage to close it the second he does his 6th laugh he can just break the door and jump scare you anyway. This is why you gotta close it when he's on the camera outside your office. Freddy is also slowed down when you use the camera but unlike Foxy, you have to actually look at Freddy. Also something that can be quite useful, Freddy will not move from cam 4B if you have the camera selected, even if you are not using the camera or the door is opened. As long as Freddy is in 4B and the camera is selected, he will not move. Use that info as you will. That pretty much it for the animatronics. Wait, wasn't here a 5th animatronics? Oh yeah, Endo. The endoskeleton is a joint inside every animatronics, which allow the animatronics to move. He can sometime turn and look at the camera, but he doesn't do anything else. Okay, we will talk about the actual 5th one later. Right now this is it for the animatronics. Now let's move on in the Easter egg section. First off, when you first boots up the game or launch a night, instead of being sent in the menu or in your night, you will get sent in an image of Bonnie's face staring you, his eye then lit up, leaving a simple white dot before sending you where you were supposed to go. During your night, you will get hallucination saying it's me with flashing pic of the word it's me, Bonnie's staring face with different white dot eye and a picture of Freddy staring at you with bloody human eyes. When Freddy is alone in the stage, sometime he will stare at you. Fun fact about this, here is this extremely rare version of everyone in the stage staring at you. It was thought and still is sometime thought to be in the game, but after going into the game file and even exploring multiple old version of the game, we later learned this image was never used in the game. It just in the game file but nothing can trigger this image to appear. The only real instant of it being used is the game trailer. So until we found any proof of it have been used before, the only explication we got for now is it being a Mandela effect. Since Freddy does actually have a rare version of him staring at the stage, we probably thought it'd be logic for this image to be the same. Bonnie can suddenly stare at the camera in that back room. The Celebrate poster of Freddy in 2B can be replaced with a picture of Freddy tearing his own head. We'll come back to this camera by the way. When Foxy is gone, one Easter egg that is less mentioned is the Night 5 call that I will mention here. If you reverse and speed up it will say,
agricultural development is stated by fuller use of your marvelous mechanism, would it not be easily possible to employ on the then and quick laboratory equipment to indicate the influence of various lies on plant growth? You are right, apples usually be made by acute and array seldom know temporarily the joy of creative.
This text actually come from the book Autobiographic of a Yogi, and I won't explain what it mean. But this passage actually foreshadow a concept that will come in the franchise later. All I'll say for now is that the book talk a lot about how metal respond to stress and toxic chemical in a similar way living creature do, meaning it has a similar life force that can be damaged with electricity. If I continue this series I will explain what this meant in the sister location and Freddy Fazbear Pizza Simulator vid, but for now I'll leave it at that. Shout out Johnny the Night Guard. Anyway, the message sorry out of service message can be changed with it's me. The message it's me can also appear in the wall of camera 4, and speaking of 4A, this is now we are about to switch to the lore section, because in the same camera sometime it can switch into a picture of 3 child crying, and in the next camera, the newspaper will change to tell an event that happened, and as we start reading what the newspaper, we will now go into the lore section because this is where we learn what actually happened. Oh, last minute's edit, I almost forgot the best Easter egg, when you press Freddy's noise in the poster. I may forget to mention here, so I will say in every game here is a variant of this Easter egg, so if a notice can be presses do it. Now we will talk about the newspaper, starting with the first one. Kids vanish at local pizzeria, bodies not found. 2 local children were reportedly lured into a back room during the late hours of operation at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza on the night of June 26th. While video surveillance identified the man responsible and led to his capture the following morning, the children themselves were never found and are presumed dead. Police think that the suspect dressed as a mascot to earn the children's trust. Second newspaper. 5 children now reported missing. Suspect convicted. 5 children are now linked to the incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a man dressed as a cartoon mascot lured them into a back room. While the suspect has been charged, the bodies themselves were never found. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has been fighting an uphill battle ever since to convince families to return to the pizzeria. It's a tragedy. Third newspaper. Local pizzeria. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has been threatened again with shutdown by the health department over reports of foul odor coming from the much-loved animal mascots. Police were contacted when parents reportedly noticed what appeared to be blood and mucus around the eyes and mouths of mascots. One parent likened them to reanimated carcasses. Local pizzeria said to close by year's end. After a long struggle to stay in business after the tragedy that struck there many years ago, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has announced that it will close by hour's end. Despite a year-long search for a buyer, companies seem unwilling to be associated with the company. These characters will live on. In the hearts of kids, these characters will live on. CEO. We can easily understand what happened here. In June 26, someone lured 5 kids using a mascot costume. The 2 kids are probably just the 2 first off the 5 being reported. The suspect is later found and convicted, but the body are never found. Later, parents start complaining to the police for bad odors coming from the animatronics, and what seemed to be blood and mucus around the eyes and mouth of the animatronics, which we can easily tell what it mean. The suspect lured the kids, killed them, and were hidden inside the animatronics, and in the game we can deduct the actual reason to why the animatronics actually aggressive is because they want revenge to their killer. And I almost forgot the one of the detail I left out. 5 kids went missing, but we only know Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. Well, that now we start talking about the 5th animatronics. Sometime on the same camera where the Freddy poster is, sometime it can change to an image of a yellow version of Freddy. If you've seen this poster, you will hear a girly laugh. And after you lower your camera, the yellow bear will be in front of you and you have a little bit of time to go back in your camera, or the bear will kill you and crash your game. We can also notice the message "It's me" is associated with him. This bear is referred as Golden Freddy, and he has 2 more appearances in the game. Sometime when you lose and get sent in the game over screen, here is a 1 out of 100,000 chance that instead of being sent back in the menu, you will get sent to Golden Freddy's jump scare, which is, in my opinion, actually evil. And the next encounter, in Custom Night, here was this rumor that if you put the code 1987, you would get a secret cutscene that showed you the bite of 87, or that it would activate the kitchen camera. These rumors were obliviously false, and to counter them, Scott made so if you put 1987, you will get sent into a Golden Freddy jump scare too. Well, technically we did get something for 1987 suit. This implied to many people Golden Freddy did the bite of 87, which ended up being, oops, spoilers territory. Anyway, we can understand Golden Freddy as the 5th victim. This is it for the lore section. I'm kinda done covering everything, but I will profit of the concept of knowing what happened next to give some hint of question that gonna be focused and answered in the next game. So first off, in this game our protagonist Mike kinda just serve as a vessel for us to play the game, but the more the franchise goes, the more you will learn Mike is a major character in the lore. So who is Mike, and why does Golden Freddy seemingly know Mike? Because the word "It's me" is indeed directed to Mike, so who is Mike and who is really Golden Freddy? Why is he much more mysterious and ghostly compared to the others? What was the bite of 87, and finally who is the killer? All of these things will be answered soon in the future episode if I'm not lazy.
She begging on me on the bank. I smack her, she let her get spanked. I tackle her, bitch, let her wrestle. Young bachelor, we love to play. So come out when I move the drapes. Know my move when I grab your waist. Know you fucking a man that's made. Hey.